Hello. So we are live here with the second day of Are We There Yet? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Beverly, and I am one of the hosts of Are We There Yet? Are We There Yet is a micro-festival and a community looking to showcase and incite creativity. We're here today to question, to provoke, and to discover ideas together. Yesterday, we had some interesting talks, from a talk about digital clothing to another about the new normal. If you're keen to check those talks out, we have recorded them and we will be posting them on our website, arewethereyet.club, in a few days. You can also check them out if you go into Crowdcast, the other sessions. You'll find that in the navigation above. Today, we also have some exciting talks. Later, you will be hearing a talk about feminist surrealist painting. You'll also hear another talk about inclusive design, and several more. Right now, I wanted to introduce you to our very first speaker. She is the fiery Taina. She is an artist, a food activist, a book author, as well as a former cook. I'm going to leave it to her to continue introducing herself. And she really wanted to be here live today, but due to internet issues, we had to pre-record the session. She might be here still, and if she is, after the recording, I'm going to invite her onto the stage to have a live Q&A. So.
My name is Taina, and today I'm talking a little bit and I started working in the age of 11 when my father died, and I started working with art. And then I participated at the opening of a restaurant, a Japanese restaurant in São Paulo. And I quit everything because I could not answer one important question, which was, what matters for me? What is important? What I'm doing with my life? I wanted to do something meaningful, and I look at the answers everywhere. And at certain point, I look at myself, and I am half Japanese, and I didn't know anything about my Japanese part. So I started looking at this Japanese part, and I found a beautiful concept, a Buddhist Japanese concept that changed my life. And this was a word, and this word is motainai, which means reduce, reuse, recycle. And it's also a way to say thank you. And I was very, very intrigued by this concept and how it was applied and in every single aspect of life. And then as I worked with food and I worked with art, for me, I came to a point that I thought that I could potentially combine my skills as a cook, as an artist, to talk about some important issues, sustainable topics. What is sustainability? And I then came back into the most basic question, which is, without food, we all die. We need to eat, and food has a big impact in our world and society. And as we are many and always more, food causes so much damage in our planet. And this is what I'm talking about today. So what do we do? Why we have to damage our planet? Why people need to suffer? Why animals need to suffer? Because we want to eat. So what we are doing with our planet, with our brothers and sisters, right? If you think about, or I thought about all these crises that we are living, that we're facing at the moment, which are many, they are somehow connected to our food. And when I became mother, I had the impression the future was not anymore there far. The future was just here by my side every day. And that changed my perspective on the time and that I have to act, that we all have to act, that we have to do something about this crisis. We cannot just see the forest burning, boat coming down, and just don't do anything. So I started asking myself, what is the heritage we want to leave? I got an amazing heritage from my parents and from like everything that I have seen in this planet, this beautiful, beautiful planet that we live. I think the most lovely one. Well, I don't know any other one, but I think our planet is like worth to do something about. And I don't know the answer. I don't know exactly what we can do, how to really affect change. But one thing I'm trying since a couple of years is to try to combine food, art, and sustainability within a community, and exploring the different ways we can connect food and art. Because look, the thing, we all have to eat. Without food, we die. Art has this power to change people's perspective. So if we combine both, we can have an amazing recipe to change what we are not happy with. So at the Food Art Week, we explore these different connections. It's like this experience with the taste. Because what is the best way to talk about food and to convince someone that we can eat good, that we can eat better in the sense that our food doesn't need to cause any damage for the planet, right? And so how do you convince people that we have to change something, that each of us needs to do small steps? So we have this way of communicating at Food Art Week that you see there. It's a bit disruptive. It's polemic, but it's a way that we found to say, hey, there's not everything is going to be all right. It's something, to shock people, to make people think about, or we use like these kind of advertising tricks to take people's attention. And what I think it's beautiful about this project is that it's not only artists doing something in the festival. We have scientists, we have environmentalists, we have teachers, students, all kind of people doing something. So it's not an art that it's very conventional. Sometimes like people think, is this food or is this art? So I like this idea of having a new way of seeing art and seeing food as art, and seeing like the potential that that people have to express and to exchange those ideas, or what is working, what is not working, and the feeling of being together and trying to do something together. Because when, as for instance, I started doing more like this work that I'm doing. I started myself at home trying to reduce food packaging, for instance. So it's not easy because I'm vegetarian, and then I go to the supermarket and I see tofu, and tofu is packaged in plastic packaging. Or sometimes I know, like, I want to eat some fruit or vegetable, but then it comes from far away. And so we are really living in a challenging times. And when we are together with other people that is also concerned about the same issues, and I think it makes easier or funnier, I don't know, or more interesting to be living in this challenge. It's not like that hard. You feel motivated because you're not there alone, right? And I also have been working in public spaces, and this was the last Food Art Week at the Steinplatz, a place across the Art University in Berlin. And so we had these 4 greenhouses that were an art installation, but at the same time an educational spot. So I got like many students visiting me, and I was like about to explain them the impact of food in the water. So I think art needs new ways of approaching, and I think art should be in the public spaces, you know. And so this is something I also am working on, and this is what are the seeds, the loss of the biodiversity, and all the issues, important issues that we have relating to the seeds. And I just wanted to give you some perspectives of ways of that I'm trying to find to affect change, cooking for homeless people with friends, going around with Greenpeace, collecting garbage, collaborating with others, talking at the conferences, working with students, with kids, or writing books, which I think it's also a work thing, because yeah, you have something written down that you can follow and give some inspiration, and all this because I truly believe we need to unite together to preserve our planet. And I hope with this talk inspired you somehow to, whatever you're doing, to get together and think about these issues, and think that 3 times a day you have the power to decide for our planet. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I am inviting Taina to the stage. Oh, hello.
Hello. I'm sorry, I think I cut the presentation.
No, it's perfect.
I don't know if everyone listening to the end, but I was about to say that I hope the presentation inspires some of you to, whatever you're doing, to get together to protect our planet and ourselves.
Yeah, is there anything else you would like to add to the video? I know you said a lot, but if there's anything else.
Well, I don't know. I was supposed to focus more on the seeds project, because it's sort of something I'm currently working, and I have the invitation to occupy the public space again. So I don't know if someone got ideas and want to write to me. My email is taina@foodartweek.com. And so I have like some things I want to talk about, and and I think it's always good to have different perspectives about the topic. So I thought, as for example, one thing is like the loss of diversity. So we managed in the last 100 years to extinct 94% of the biodiversity in our planet, and this is it's an important issue to talk about. So I don't know if there would be like some artist or someone, a thinker or an activist, I don't know, someone with some idea how to tell the story and to make people that is just passing by, like, okay, yeah, that's something wrong, and it's something that we have to act now, as soon as possible, start doing something, and then you get to the point, okay, what to do. And then I don't know, like you have, as for example, when you go to the supermarket, you buy organic food thinking you're buying organic food, of course, from organic seeds, and that's not true. And also, I think it's important for us as consumers to ask for transparency. And we should have in all packages, like from where the seed is coming from, because we don't want to support Monsanto, and Monsanto is on the market, on the organic seeds market. So they do produce organic seeds, and we don't want, and like it was clear some years ago that we don't want that, and we know what monoculture is doing to our planet, and so we know also that we need the forest. So why we are eating the forest? So yeah. So that's like the invitation I want to extend to everyone participating at the festival. Maybe you can put like a note on the website, someone that for people that didn't have the chance to participate, to just like. Yeah, yesterday, as for example, I tried to log in and I could not. So I lost part of the festival, and so maybe if you recorded the sessions, you could like upload, and then also like, I don't know, have this note.
Yeah, we are recording this session, and we will be posting this on the website. And anyone who is part of the festival right now, you can go into previous sessions and rewatch. But we should definitely put your email into the messages here. So it is taina@foodartweek.com. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. We have a question, which is, what can one do to join food activism movement if one is living in a developing country?
In which country, what you say?
The question is, what can someone be doing about food activism if they live in a developing country?
Yeah, I think I think there are like a little steps like that each of us could do. As for example, if you let's say you can start making cities greener. You can start like finding a spot, or having this impression that the city is ours. So why we just plant flowers? Why we don't plant food as well? Food could be for free, indeed. So we could like start a garden, and to start a garden, it's important to do something with the soil, because the soil is sort of like contains the nutrients that makes plants grow. So you can, with the leftovers that you're eating, you can make compost. So every time you're eating, you can do something for the planet, for the soils, and then you do your compost. And you can here in Berlin, there's this wonderful project from Arewethereyet and Milan Katin. They have allotment that they transform into, also like, for me, it's kind of like an art laboratory. So it's a green art laboratory. And so I do bokashi compost. It's a Japanese method of fermenting and transforming waste into food for soils. And I bring my bokashi there, and in exchange, they give me the soil. And then I go around, and then I put like soils, the good soil for the city. And I started, as for example, I don't have a diploma for teaching, but I go to public schools. I am guest teachers at universities in different countries, and I have been talking to my students and to everyone about how nice it is to be part of this wonderful process of transforming waste into, waste, something that you don't, it has no value at all, into a good food for the planet, and sort of like participating in a way of, a movement to save our planet. So this is something, you could start with your own waste, and then going, as I said, maybe to the next school, or talking to neighbors, talking to people, and then growing this. You can also, like, concerning the seeds, as I said, asking the supermarkets, like, hey, from where it comes from, the seed, we want to support the small farmers, local farmers. So you can, if you have the chance to buy directly from the farmer, or participate at the solidarity agriculture, as for example, because this is also something some people think, I cannot afford eating organic. But if you collaborate with the farmer, you can, create a better food system, and then you can afford organic food and good food. So that's like one thing that you can look for, who are the organic producers, what is the community, what people are doing, and then buying directly from these producers. You can also have, think about the plastic, because I think this is also something, the packaging, and trying to create better environments, or like even starting yourself, like if you have contact with farmers, as for instance, you can start like what we now, after Corona crisis, we know how important it is that we practice solidarity, that we get together to help each other. So, like, use your time. We don't have time anymore for projects and work and things that are not meaningful and mindful. So I think Corona also brought this, sense for all of us that we needed to do something, and that we cannot, here in the city especially, you depend on the supermarkets, and the food system doesn't work at all, and then we are lost. So what we have to do? And then I think just like a really small things, going back to the beginning, kind of. I don't know if it sounds a bit crazy, because you're so futuristic, so futuristic that we are here having this micro festival with people from all around the world, and like with all this technology, and then I'm talking to you, like, hey, let's go back to the roots,
But I mean, it just shows that it's still a problem, right? And it's something we should also be working on in tandem and together.
Yeah, and like, it's just because you do like this decision 3 times a day, but we don't think anymore. We are just eating, consuming without thinking that this is actually the main cause of the destruction of our planet. Mm-hmm. And then we cry because people are suffering, because like people in Africa, or African Americans, African Brazilians, because like people all around the world, they are suffering. Mm-hmm. And then we are contributing for this when we eat, and we don't think about, we don't make this connection, and that's like a very critical, because once you get like this, and so then it comes to kind of like a bit spiritual thing, because if we meditate, if we think, if we are aware about the things that we are constantly doing, that we are doing every single moment, like just being present and thinking what means what I'm doing. So then you have like another idea, then you come like across some questions like, I don't want to support this. I don't want people to suffer. I want all like people in Amazonas to be happy, because their happiness is also my happiness, or so it comes to the point that when you're buying something like the coffee, the sugar, or the meat from Brazil, you're going to think about no, this is like sort of the products that is destroying the forest, killing the indigenous people and the animals and the plants, and so you stop doing that, right? And that's like kind of the thing that makes like life interesting, I think, because this technology that we are using now, it's reaching out to so many people, so many people that are constantly eating and making decisions 3 times a day, and maybe they didn't think about, you know, some people are prepared to not look at this problem, just like, okay, don't think about it, I'm hungry, I need to eat. So, you know, but there are solutions, and actually the solutions are much funnier. I mean, I love to go to Ilan's and Glenara's garden. I love to get my hands dirty. I love to see like how the plants actually grow, and this is like so important for my son as well, you know, like in terms of being connected to the nature, to the soils, to the food. And I also like going to farms. I think this is also something really important, that we are really disconnected. Like many chefs and famous chefs, they don't know how, they cannot recognize carrot, as for example. I have a friend that is a gardener, and he was head gardener for Jamie Oliver for 9 years. And then he said, many chefs came to visit the garden. And then I said, okay, you can pick up this, and this, because they came to ask to pick up some ingredients to cook. And then the chefs were like, I don't know. What is the carrot? How it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just about to wrap up our time, and I know we could talk for a lot longer, and we do have an extra question here. But I encourage is we are going to be starting a community group somewhere, and it would be great if you posted there, Taina, and perhaps other people can ask questions and start a conversation with you about the Seed Project and all the other interesting projects that you have going on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your kind invitation. I'm really happy to be part of this.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So we have 2 minutes until the next talk, which is with Puntita, who is a feminist surrealist painter. So stick around here just a few minutes and yeah, get ready for that.